What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Friday, July 11th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on and talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Jessamyn Dodd. She is a reporter out of Imperial Press Valley, based out in California. And we're going to talk to her about her why of being in the journalism industry, and we're going to ask some get to know you questions. So without any further ado, I introduce you to the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Jessamyn.
I'm on mute.
All right, here we
All right.
go.
Are you
So
there? Okay,
I
cool.
hear you. Do you hear me?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to my podcast, Jesse. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you allocating your time for me. I want to say thank you. And how is your week going?
Uh, it's hot here in the Imperial Valley. We're in triple digits. It's summer's heating up. There's a
Hmm.
lot of work to be done on the ground. Uh, One of the things about working in the news is you never know what your day is going to bring. Some days it's slow and you're writing about silly things, and the other days it's like slam, slam, slam. So this week has been a mixture of both.
Absolutely. Totally understand that. Totally understand that. I want to reiterate to you, Jesse, why I wanted to have you on here. And that's because I know you are a reporter out there in Imperial Valley at the Imperial Valley Press. You've been at other spots as well, doing reporting as well. I'm a journalist, and I've been at a couple of different spots here in Atlanta, Georgia. I started my journalism career. Now I'm here in Minnesota, and soon I'll be taking off to New York,
Wow.
upstate New York. So yes, absolutely. And I love talking to people about media and about their why, because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody's story is unique and different of how they joined this industry, and your story is just as special as anybody else's story. We're so used to getting the stories, Jesse, that we don't have a chance, I should say, to sit down and talk amongst ourselves about our story because we're so used to, like I said, getting the stories, getting the sources, writing them, and doing stuff like that. So it was a no-brainer to ask you to be on here, and I really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. My first question to you is the same as it always is with every guest that I have on here, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models or any kind of inspirations growing up? But ultimately, what led you into a career of journalism?
It was something that I kind of grew up around a lot. My dad was a photojournalist in Boston, and I
Okay.
grew up watching him work and going to all these different places. And it never really clicked to me that that's what I wanted to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but I would watch the news relentlessly. It just, even from a kid, I was always watching the news. I always wanted to know what was happening. I was asking questions all the time, and it never occurred to me to be a journalist. I didn't think it was something that I could be good at. I mean, I was a great writer. I got A's in English. I loved to write. But it was just something that wasn't really nurtured in me when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Um, there it was more like you're gonna do performing arts and you're gonna go into medicine, and it was sort of like you can't really have a career. Even though that's what my dad did. So, and then
Sure.
I kind of was like
Sure.
looking at his stuff, and I'm like, how does he make these pictures look like that? And I took photography classes, and I just said, I'm gonna throw it away. I cannot do what he does.
Hmm.
There's no way I can do what it tele. And then one day this girl was like, "Oh, you're a photographer, right?" Because she saw cameras in my house, and I said, "Well, I don't know."
Sure.
She goes, "Oh, can you do some headshots for me?" And I said, "I don't know." And I did them, and then all these people started calling me, and I was like, "Oh, let me just go get an internship at a newspaper, and see what happens." And when
Sure.
I realized I really wanted to tell the stories, I didn't want to just take the photos.
Right.
I love to write. I'm a writer. I would just write these crazy stories. I'd make them up when I was younger, and about things that were happening, and it just kind of became a thing. And I remember being a teenager, and I remember watching Jillian Barbary on Good Day LA, or Good Morning. It was one of those morning shows, Fox,
Okay.
on Fox, and she was doing the weather, and I said, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And so I made it happen, I guess.
No, I love that. No, it got to start from somewhere. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. That desire and passion. I love that why. Basically from what your dad was doing, being very intrigued, and then, I mean, growing up, you just didn't see a lot of women in journalism. I mean, you saw some, but you didn't see a whole lot. And that's something that I still think to this day needs to change. Very much so. It has changed from back in the day, but it's still in all, I think we still need some improvement in that area as well. You went to the Western Governors University, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Talk to me about going there. As far as getting your degree, was there any other schools that was on your radar?
Honestly, at this point, this was my second career, journalism. And it was during the pandemic, and I
Mm.
just started interning because I decided I wanted to change careers, because the pandemic really makes you think, okay, I can't go to work doing this, but you can kind of write from anywhere. You can be freelance, and you can write from, a cabin in a lab. You can write from anywhere. So I was like,
Right,
this is something that I've always wanted to do. It is my passion. I couldn't find an online journalism school, and all the ones that I could find were really expensive, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, right?
right,
So I was
right.
like, just let me get my degree in something other than, nursing. Let me just go and get a business degree. I thought, oh, I can do copywriting. I'll start off doing copywriting, social
Hmm.
media. I'll study business and social media. And I was like, I hate social media. I hate business. This is so boring. This is not, but so they don't
Mm,
have a journalism degree per se. So I just chose the closest one. And they just said, how do I get bylines? Well, just go intern. Okay. And then what after that? Just start writing a blog, just start writing stuff, write op-eds, get something with your name on it in print online. And I believe it was after that, I think it was like a year later, not
hmm.
even, I got my first job in television. So
Okay, I like that. Now, do you like the broadcast side or the print side better?
broadcast side, definitely.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
It's just
What's up?
very hard to maintain. You mentioned there's not a lot of women in broadcasting, and it didn't. I mean, there's a lot more now, but back in the 80s it was like Barbara Walters and Connie Chung, and that was it, right? But we're seeing a lot more now. But there's definitely different standards for women. It's a lot easier for men to get an MMJ or anchor job than it is for a woman. They want to have so much more, and I feel like but we are moving away from that. We definitely are moving away from that with like the Rachel Maddows and Jessica Tarlovs and people like that. They're really, really, even Judge Jeannie Perot, where they're really carving a niche for women in the industry. Whereas
Hmm.
before it was like, you're going to do the weather and that's all you can do, or you're just going to do whatever, a morning shift. But and I love the weather. I'm like, I wish I was a meteorologist. I think that's very cool. I love when I see
Okay.
women meteorologists who know what they're talking about. But it was always kind of like a thing where it was like, oh, you can't really get that far. So it is very hard. And a lot of the companies, especially local media, what they'll tell me when I was going for a job was, we just want to hire kids straight out of college, like 22, because then we can just kind of like tell them what to do. They don't have any preconceived notions of what it's like to be in a workplace.
Right.
We don't have to pay them very much. We can pay them minimum wage. And
Right.
they're
Right.
happy to get their clips. And whereas someone who's been doing it for 6 or 7 years, it's not as easy to get a job for a woman who's been doing this 6 or 7 years compared to a new grad who's like 22 years old.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely going to take a liking to the new grad because the new grad is kind of green, and
Yeah.
they just want to be in there and I can remember being in my 20s and wanting to be saying yes, 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 yes to everything. Yep, yep, yep. I'm just listen, I want to do it. I want to do it. But it comes a point in time when you're in this and you're like, okay, I want to get paid my worth too. And I know I don't want to be eating top ramen every single day. Like I don't want to be making pennies on a dollar. You know what I mean? So that's just one of those things where you kind of just know your worth and you go from there. I want to ask you some favorite questions. And you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these
Okay.
favorite questions. Okay, so
All
here we
right.
go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh, that I cook? uh, what is my favorite meal? Like a baked ziti.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm,
my mom used to make baked ziti, but I don't make it with meat. So just cheese
okay.
baked ziti.
I like
Yeah,
that now. I'm a huge pasta person, so I
yeah.
love that. And that's my hometown you're in, which is California. So yes,
Oh
definitely. I love
yeah. Okay.
California. Absolutely. I'm from San Diego. So
Oh,
yes.
nice. Okay, I lived in San Diego for a year. So.
Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh God, there's so many, and I'm gonna say probably Nine Inch Nails with David Bowie.
Wow. Okay. That is definitely a first here on the Work Hard, Play Hard
Well,
podcast.
David Bowie is such an icon, and
Hmm.
just seeing him in person, in the flesh, was something I never thought I was gonna be able to do, you know, and it was pretty cool.
Okay. I like that. That's what's up. I would say I'm a huge R&B person. So I love R&B, but
Well, I
I
saw
would.
T. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and say a very close second. It was, I don't know. I might need to change that because I remember I saw Tina Turner during her Mad Max tour, and that was
Oh
pretty
wow.
insane. Like I think that was, I mean, it's like I'm a huge Bowie fan, right? I love Bowie, but also
Hmm.
Tina Turner. Like I think I was so young that I didn't realize her power when I saw it, but
Sure.
looking back,
Sure.
I go, "Dang, I can't believe my dad took me to see it. That was cool." I didn't
Okay. I
realize
like that.
how immense her presence was because I was so young.
Absolutely. She's amazing. No question about it. I would say Metallica was one of my favorite concerts for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. No question
Yeah.
about that. I'm a huge Enter the Sandman type of fan. That's what I love. The Black Album was great too for Metallica. So definitely Metallica was one of my favorite groups. And Nothing Else Matters is probably my favorite song of theirs, which is so different from any from their music that they normally do. But that's my favorite song of theirs for sure. Okay, I like that. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ever traveled to? Well,
Mhm.
it's not now. Okay, I think my favorite place I've ever traveled to, oh God.
Mhm.
Um, I've been a lot of places. Let me think. I want to say I want to say Paris, but it was Paris in the late
Wow.
night. It was Paris in the late 90s, not the Paris that we see today. It was a different Paris back then. It was just thriving and gorgeous, and there was no trash anywhere, and it was just so insane to actually be there and see all of, the Notre Dame and all these, the Louvre and these places like that. So Paris, yeah.
Was that like a family trip, a friends trip?
No, I went with a band that was playing, and
Oh
they
wow.
were on tour, and we were on tour, and I went, and they were stopped in a bunch of different places in Europe, but I think Paris has my heart. I don't think I would go back today from the videos that I see online and from the people telling me. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it was just in the late 90s. It was just absolutely stunning.
Okay.
It was a trip, and just as an art lover and
Hmm.
as a history lover, it was pretty amazing.
I love that. That's definitely on my bucket list to go, for sure. No question about that. I would say my favorite place is Jamaica.
I've never
Um,
been.
oh, well, see, now I can give you tips on that. You can give me tips on Paris, and we can exchange. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, that's what's up. Um, I'm a sports person, so I gotta ask you a sports question. This is a two-parter. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person?
My favorite sport that I like to watch on TV is Formula One. I've never been
Okay.
to a race in person just because they don't have them close to me. I think the closest one right now is in Texas. But am a huge F1 fan way before the movie came out. I've been a Formula One fan for about 12 years, watching the races, taping the races, because a lot of times they are overseas and they're at like 2 in the morning. So we tape them and
Absolutely.
rewatch them. And I love Formula One. Mercedes and Red Bull are my teams.
Cool.
But
Okay. Okay.
favorite sport in person.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a lot of baseball games, a lot of baseball games,
Okay.
a lot of baseball games. They're kind of, it's a little long, but you get to kind of hang out with your friends and chit chat. And I did get to go to a Clippers game, and I thought that was so thrilling and exciting. And if the tickets weren't so expensive, I would have gone back.
I know that's right. Yeah, the
I don't
Clippers
know
and Lakers.
why. You could go to a baseball game for like $30, but those basketball tickets are pretty expensive.
Yeah, definitely in Los Angeles for sure. No
Yeah, in
question
LA.
about
I
that.
don't know about other places, but it's so fun.
Mhm.
Baseball, you get to kind of get up and walk around and just kind of hang out and eat and relax. But basketball is pretty thrilling. It moves fast.
Absolutely. Basketball is definitely my favorite sport. That's the sport that I would love to attend in person. Football is a sport that I would love to watch on TV. Stadiums are just too big. If you're not really close, then they look like mini-me's.
Mm.
Um, I love baseball playoff time. Playoff time baseball is amazing because it's intense. It's really good teams playing against each other. But Lewis Hamilton is also one of my favorite drivers as well
Yeah.
in the F1 series.
Oh, you know what I forgot to say? I did go to a Kings game and we were like right up next to the glass and I forgot. I grew up going to hockey. I used to go to hockey games all the time because that's like the national sport in Boston. Um
Yeah.
and then I got to go to another game about 8 or 9 years ago, and hockey's lit. Hockey is lit.
It's
Hockey's
definitely
crazy. They'll just like slam each other into the wall. You don't
lit.
even know where to look on the ice. It's pretty fun.
Absolutely. I love me some hockey games for sure. I've definitely dabbled in some Minnesota Wild games being up here in Minnesota, so no question about that. I love that. I'm a huge foodie. So this last question is going to be about food. What is your favorite restaurant to eat at, Jesse?
My favorite restaurant.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
And I know that area pretty well. I know Imperial Valley pretty well, the LA
Well,
area.
I'm pretty new out here, but I would just say, I guess in the LA County it would be Nobu.
Yeah.
In Malibu. I like
Hmm.
Nobu. But out here, I haven't really gone to any restaurants. There's not a lot of restaurants, but there's some really good taco and burrito spots that you can just like drive through or walk up to.
Yep.
So yeah, there's Johnny's Burrito out here. It's pretty good.
Absolutely. I definitely know about Johnny's Burrito. Definitely
Johnny's
know about
Burrito is so
Nobu.
good.
It
There's
is very
always a
good.
line at Johnny's Burrito. My only issue is they don't stay open past 3 o'clock. So they open at like 7:30 in the morning or 8 in the morning for breakfast burritos, and they don't stay open past 3. So sometimes I'm coming home and I want to get something to eat and it's closed. And that makes me
Right.
sad.
That does. And that's the only thing. Like they're very popular, but they don't stay open for long.
Right.
I do know that. I'm a huge Roscoe chicken and waffle person, as well. That's one of my favorite spots out there. I didn't think I would ever have a favorite spot combining chicken and waffles, but hey, I did. I picked it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Homemade too, so I like that. Let's talk about your day to day. As a journalist, and I know as a journalist, no 2 days are ever the same. We wake up, we have different stories, different subjects, different things that we're doing on a daily basis, and we're covering on a daily basis. News is nonstop. I'm sports, so sports are nights and weekends. So it's all different kinds of the times of the day, I should say, that you're working. Tell me about your day-to-day process of how many stories you normally do in a week. When do you start? When do you finish? Do you have to rush back in after your shift if it's breaking news? Talk to me about that.
Well, the interesting thing about the outlet that I'm working at now is it's not like a lot of the other outlets that I've worked four which are mostly digital, but also have a physical. Some of them have physical copies. But this is like it's a newspaper, so it's print. So what I'm writing today isn't going to be printed until tomorrow.
Right.
So there's not that huge rush, right? As long as it's in by like 4, it's not a big deal. So I'm not really dealing with breaking. If breaking news is coming out, we might throw it up on Facebook or put a breaker up, a couple paragraph breaker up on the website, on the digital version. But it's not like anywhere I've ever sort of worked before. So
Hmm.
I had to adjust and slow down because I was used to like, okay, breaking. Okay, we have to have this in a half an hour. Jess, you need to get this story in within the next hour. Your
Right.
stories need to be done within 3 hours. You got to do at least one story a day. And here I'm doing like maybe one big one, maybe two small ones. Some days, just two small ones. Some days, if it's a big story that needs a lot more research or traveling around, it's a 2-day story, so it's not a lot of pressure. Um, uh, unless it's like it's a big story, then they want it the next day. But it's not going to be printed until the next day, so I'm not pushing myself to get it done quickly, as quickly as I was when I was doing digital or broadcast. So that's a little
Absolutely.
bit nice, but sometimes, something big will come in. I'll be like, oh, hey, we got to get it up. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have till 3. It's fine. But I mean, I
Hey.
still, yeah. So it's a lot different.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
And
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 print.
some days I'm just sitting at my desk, and some days I'm going to events, and some days I'm going to do in-person interviews. Some days I'm
Mhm.
just doing them on the phone. Some days I'm driving down to the border. Some days I'm driving out to the Salton Sea. Some days I just, write about a new store opening or a city council meeting. It just depends on what's going on. And it's not, hard. A lot of it isn't hard news.
Right.
But there's stories that are important about like corruption at the school board, or a disaster that happened here, or a shooting at the border. I guess that technically could be hard news, but it's a lot slower because it's strictly print.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely understand that. Me being a print journalist, I went from one publication that didn't print at all, and we did everything e-digital. Then went to another publication that printed first 6 days, then cut it down to 5 days, then cut it down to 4 days. How
Mhm.
many days do you normally have to put out a hard copy of a newspaper?
5 days.
5 days. Okay,
Well, we
awesome.
have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah, 5 days.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That's what's up. I like that. Now, with working in this industry, the one of the major things that I like to talk about is mental health and work-life balance. Mental health is very important to me. It's very important in any industry, but with the industry I'm in, I've seen a lot of reporters leave this industry and go to do something else because their mental health was affected. I've seen a lot of people leave this industry because of the work-life balance. They just couldn't find that right fit for them being in this industry. So tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still have that work-life balance as well, without experiencing burnout?
It's I get burnt out a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. I burn
Mm,
out because I do push myself too
okay.
much. And if you're working an 8:30 to 5 o'clock, and then you're picking your kid up, and then you have like 2 hours with your kid, maybe 3 at the most, and it gets
Right.
it gets depressing. You think I'm not spending enough time with my child, and then on the weekends, if you have an event, um, or you're just trying to squeeze everything in to be a mom. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm all for the 4-day work week here. uh it's hard, and you have to make sure that you make your hours because you have to punch a clock, at at my job now. I have to punch a clock. I have to
Right.
be as close to 8 hours as I can. And it's frustrating, and I look around, and it's hard because you start to see things lacking. You're not doing your house cleaning, your laundry's piling up, you want to hang out with your dog, you want to watch a movie, you don't have time to do any of that. It's really hard. It's not easy, and I don't even know what the answer is. And sometimes it gets to the point where the way that the economy is right now, I can't afford to take a mental health day, you know? I would love
Mm,
to just say, "Hey, I'm calling out because I need to take care of myself," but I can't. It's hard for me to take care of myself because I feel like I'm always doing stuff. I'm always moving. I'm always going. And it is hard at night to just stop, just say, "Okay, I'm turning my phone off and we're going to sit down and play a video game. I'm going to sit down and have dinner. I'm going to do this load of laundry." It's really, really hard. It's
sure.
not an easy time to be a parent, a working parent. Even if you have someone else in the home to help you with your child or to help you with this, it's like, how, and that becomes the question. I've spoken with a lot of other women who are working women. I'll say, how am I supposed to clean the house, pay all the bills, walk the dog, take care of this, feed the cats, go to all these events, make sure that I'm present and spend X amount of hours with my kid and work 40 hours a week. It's very hard the way that it's set up in society for men and women. It's not just women, there's dads too that are doing it. Uh,
Absolutely.
it's just the way that it is now. And I think I remember back in the day at my, the 80s, my parents had a lot more time. They could take vacations, even if you have vacation time, it's like, it's very hard to schedule that because the kid has school, the kid's got classes. It's not easy, but we got to do it. And especially in this career, there have been times where I have just come home and put my head in a pillow because some of the stories are so heavy. Some of the
Right.
things that we see in front of our eyes or that people talk to us about and trust us with is so big and so scary and so frightening in this world. Uh, you got to have people to talk to. I'm lucky I have this really great friend that I used to work with my first broadcasting job, and she
Okay.
is such a good friend, and I get to call her, and if she doesn't answer, we're texting. um and I have her, and I have a supportive mom. My dad is so supportive. He's 3 hours ahead of me, but as long as it's not too late, I can call him too.
Sure. Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely. Okay.
um and that's, I got my mom and my dad, and I got my friend Rachel, and I got my little therapy dog that I just hold sometimes.
No, I totally understand that, and I appreciate your transparency. I don't think we ever are going to have a 100% grasp on mental health and work-life balance. It's a struggle for everybody in this industry and probably everybody in the world,
Yeah,
because we all deal with adversity when it comes in our way in different ways, right? So, um, we just never going to have 100% grasp. I mean, because there's all different kind of things going on. But it's important to ask that question because when you are a journalist, you're right. The news never stops. Sports never stops. Your job has to keep going on, and you still have these other responsibilities to do, and you have to be able to, do them to the best of your abilities if you really want a career in journalism, right? And
yeah.
but that also
I'm
brings a great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember there were times where at my last job, my editor would call me, my team leader would call me at like 5 in the morning. She'd call me at, 1 o'clock in the morning. We have breaking news, and I'm like, I want to sleep. I want to,
Right.
I want to go out to eat I'm out to eat with my son. Can you get home and do this? Or I need it in half an hour. And you got to do it, right? You got to do it.
Right.
It becomes
Right.
exhausting and overwhelming, but this is what I chose to do. And I'm not, I just need to make it very clear. I'm not complaining. I'm
Yeah,
just saying that if
absolutely.
if you're going through what I'm going through, I'm just trying to be honest here. I love my job. I wouldn't see myself doing anything else other than being a journalist. I literally couldn't. And I signed up for this. This is what I signed up for. I knew this coming into it. I knew
Yeah.
this. But that doesn't mean that it's always easy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No question. We definitely chose this and we chose it for a multitude, a plethora of reasons. But people need to understand that the A side and the B side. The A side is the reason why we chose it, the reason why we love doing it, being pillars in our community, telling stories that nobody else has ever told, and just being able to meet new people, do new things, and not just sit behind a desk 9 to 5 doing that. I think that, I mean, God bless the people that do that, but I can't do that. That would drive me insane. I want to be able to do different things at all times. But there is a B side, and the B side is you do have to deal with some harsh stories. You do have to deal with missing some graduations, some friends' time. Sometimes, like you just said, sometimes you maybe not seeing enough time with your son, right? And different things of that nature. You have to miss times like that, and it's unfortunate, but before you make a committed decision to be in this industry, you have to know that those things are a possibility that's going to happen. And you have to be able to deal with that. And that's why I do this platform so that people can understand the A side and the B side to it for sure. I love that. That's what's up. That's pretty awesome. I want to get to your documentary. I know you
Mm,
are doing a documentary,
yes.
and I would love to hear the origin of that documentary. I want to hear the name of it. I want to hear when is it going to be coming, and what is it all about?
Sure. So I love movies. Let me just go ahead. I was an entertainment reporter for a long time. I wanted to be an actor. I love films. Like I would go every like 2 or 3 times a week to the movies with my mom when I was younger. It's been something that has been a passion for me, but I'm not a script writer. I write articles, right? I'm a news writer. But
Right,
sometimes, excuse me, when you go out to the field and you do these stories, there's a story behind the story, right? So
right,
I don't want to give too much away, but I was doing this story, and one of the people who was there at the school that day doing this, planting this garden, this edible food garden for food insecure kids at the college so they could just go get fresh vegetables every day, right?
right.
I started talking to him, and it turned out I was like, this is a really cool idea. And I said, can I'm just sitting there waiting for some more people to come in and talk to me. Tell me your story. How did you get it? How did you get in? It wasn't what I was there to cover, but I started talking to him because he seemed really interesting.
Okay,
And it was his nonprofit. And so I wanted to dig a little deeper. And the more I started talking to him, I had tears streaming down my face. I had tears streaming down. I couldn't believe what he was telling me. What do
right.
you mean you were facing life in prison? You and your friend who are here were locked up, and you found God, and you decided when you got out, you wrote a business plan that you were going to have a nonprofit and feed the community
Wow.
with gardens. And I couldn't, and then, I kept going on, and I'm going to work, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I said, this is insane. I can't stop thinking about this story. This is a documentary. These are the things that people need to see, right? That you can be rehabilitated in prison. You can come out and give back to the community. You can turn your life around. No matter what you're facing in life, there's a way out.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that.
And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I had interviewed this woman, Sharon Angel. She has won all of these awards for international film. She did this beautiful story about this little Indian girl, this girl in India, right?
Okay.
And they were very poor, but her mom was sacrificing everything she took for her to learn English because she wanted to come to be a doctor. She wanted to come to America. And I just said, Sharon seems like, and I talked to a couple other people who were, doing bigger films at this point, and I told them the story, and they kind of passed on it, or they said, "Oh, that's a great story," and they're doing an action figure, they're doing this or they're doing that, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, it's a great story," but nothing ever really happened. So I said, "Listen, Jerry, I got to talk to you. I got to talk to you." And she goes, "This is exactly the kind of movie that I want to make as a short film
Right.
documentary." And short films are,
Okay.
they're under 20 minutes, they're 15 minutes. That's how they have to be to get into the film festivals they can't be any longer than that. So I said, this looks like maybe for my first film that I'm producing and writing a good start. Maybe I shouldn't start with a feature. Maybe short form films are my thing. And so we started writing, and we've been going back and forth, and we're in the pre-production phase
Okay.
right now. And it's here. It takes here in Imperial Valley because he was here at one of the prisons. There's 2 prisons out here, and he was here in Imperial Valley locked up. And so I said, this is a story that's in a community that I'm working in, that I've been assigned to work in this year. This is something I can do here on the ground, and it's a beautiful story. Um, and so we started writing it. We started going back and forth and having phone calls. And right now, again, it's in pre-production, aka I'm writing the interview questions, the script, it's hard for me because I want to make it. I don't know how to put all this information into such a short film, and that's why I said, Sharon, you take the reins. You're the professional. You just tell me what to do. You're the teacher. I'm here to learn from you. I've never made a movie, so I'm here to learn. I've been in movies, but I've never made a movie, so I'm here
Mm,
to watch, to
okay.
observe, to learn, and to soak up all your knowledge. And just, I'm very much into continually learning. I don't know a lot about. I don't know anything about. I don't know. I know how to write. So
Okay.
I said,
Hmm.
I'm going to give you all the information and the outline, and then you put it into the way the script's supposed to look. But as a documentary, we just want to get this man to tell his story, and he's a great storyteller. And so right now we're kind of trying to look into grants, investors, and people who are interested in our vision, because the three of us, Sharon and I, have this vision, and her filmmaking is so beautiful, the way she tells stories. And this gentleman who has this nonprofit is so the way he speaks, you can just see what he's looking at, when he talks.
Right.
And so I just think that once it clicks, we'll be filming for about 2 weeks, and then it'll be another 2 months of post editing and film coloring and all of that stuff like that. So right now it's the hardest part, which is the money.
Sure.
That's the hardest
Sure.
part, is the money. Right. So, how can you guarantee someone's going to get their money back from a film festival, right? Or how can you guarantee that your movie is going to sell to a platform? You can't. So that's always the hardest part. And I've been talking to other filmmakers, and they sort of have investors at their film companies, so they have money on hand. So I'm like, how do you do it? And it's not something that I know a lot about, raising money. I'm not a financial person, but I just know that this movie, uh, even our first video conference together, where I've heard this story from Chris, and he started telling it again, and I started crying again. And I said, this is how much people are going to be moved when they hear
Okay.
this man who was, and what most people would, reoffend or throw their life away or just whatever it was. And I said that when people hear this, they will be moved. So, it's a great story, and I'm just hoping that we can get it started sooner than later.
Sure. Absolutely. Is there a title for this documentary?
We don't have a title yet, but
Okay.
when we do,
Okay.
I mean, I have a few ideas about titles, but we haven't confirmed the title yet, as again, we're still in a pre-production. We have the crew, we have everything. We just need the money. That's it.
Financial.
That's the hard part. But everything
Absolutely.
else, script, everything's ready to get going. So
Awesome. Sounds like it's going to be a really good project once it does get up and going for sure.
yeah, well, hopefully we'll be able to have it for you to view it by the end of the year. So
That would be amazing. No question. I would definitely take a look at it. I want to ask you about some advice. What is some advice that you would give somebody that wants to be a broadcast journalist or a print journalist, do the same job as you? What kind of advice would you give that individual?
do this is going to sound really hard, but it's very easy to compromise who you are when you're working for certain media companies. It's very easy to just go along with the status quo, even if if someone tries to edit your story, your copy story before you go on air, and you're like, this isn't real, this isn't true, this is opinion, this isn't fact. Just stick to your guns. Don't give up who you are to make a network happy. Don't do that. You will be miserable. It's not worth it. Stay true to who you are and what you believe. um and the other advice that I would give is, do not be one of those people that goes into broadcast journalism or print journalism or digital journalism and you're not willing to take criticism. It is a very dog eat dog world. You
Sure.
Criticism, constructive criticism, Anytime that anyone would tell me something that they didn't like about my story or my package, I would go back and I would rewatch it over and over and over again and see what can I do better. I would ask them, help me. How can I do this? What would you do differently to try to, always be willing to learn, always be willing to listen. If someone gives you a critique, it's not because they don't like you. It's just because they want the story to be the best that it is. And sometimes, you just have to be willing to learn. You can't take anything personally because someone's always going to be mad at one of your stories. Even if all you do is give exactly this happened, this is what she said. People will bombard you on social media. You got to have
Right.
thick skin.
Right.
And my other
I agree
advice
with
is
that.
just don't read the comments. Don't go into the comment section. If you post your story, do not read the comments. Just don't do it. It will drive you crazy. So, and there's
For
someone's
sure.
always going to get pissed off. So write what you feel and write what you know and write the truth.
Absolutely. That's what we all do as journalists. We know trolls are out there. Trolls are going to do that. But we have to write our truth. And we have to stand by what we write. Constructive. I'm glad you said about constructive criticism because a lot of times, people don't know about that thick skin part of having, this job. They feel like they're just not liked or they take it too personally. And I love getting constructive criticism because it helps me become a better writer, a better journalist. But also, I would elaborate. Make sure you can tell the difference between constructive criticism and criticism that might be a little too far. And my example of that is when I had one boss tell me that I was below average as a writer. That started off as constructive criticism. Okay, I can deal with that. Now, I asked the boss, I said, okay, since I'm below average, and it's the first time I've heard it in about a year since I've been here, how can I get better? How can I get better as a writer? Um, what kind of tools can you show me as far as getting better with writing? And his quote back to me was, "We don't have the necessary tools here to help you." So when you get that kind of language, then you have to understand, well, hold on. This just went from constructive criticism to just something different because that doesn't make any sense as a leader. As a leader and somebody in a hierarchy position, you should always want to feel that your boss can help you become better. Whatever company you work in, whether it's media or whatever company it is. And at that point, I didn't think so. So I had to pivot. I had to pivot up out of there and go do something else. But I always tell, especially the high school students I substitute teach for whatever class it is, they ask me about being a journalist. I say try everything, but also be open to constructive criticism because it's gonna come. You're not gonna do
You have to
everything
get
right.
used to people not liking you too. You have to just go, that's okay if people don't
Mhm.
like me. You can't, because people don't like journalists.
Some people don't. Some people don't. Yeah, that's very true. And that's why I say it has to be deciphered, right? You have to understand what is constructive criticism and what is people trolling, what is people just saying things out of pocket, right? And that's what you have to do. And then you got to make the best decision for yourself. So that's what I tell people all the time, for sure. Um, I want to get to my interactive game that I normally play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, and that is this or that.
Okay.
So what it is I throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So Jesse, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Out of these two restaurants, which restaurant would you rather eat at if you had to choose? Popeyes or KFC?
I don't eat meat, neither.
Oh my goodness, we are off to a
But I
terrible
guess
start.
Popeyes because they got the rice and beans and the biscuits. So
So you are vegetarian.
yeah.
Okay, okay, I love
But
it.
I
I love
guess the Popeye sides are good. I'll take Popeye sides. They're rice,
Popeye
red
side.
rice.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. These next five questions have to do with music concerts that you rather attend. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go.
All right.
Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see the Eagles or Aerosmith?
The Eagles.
Okay, I like that. Which music concert would you rather go see? Pearl Jam or Metallica?
Pearl Jam.
Okay, I like that.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. I love it. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see New Edition or Boys the Men?
New Edition.
Absolutely, absolutely. With your Boston roots, I totally
Prime New
understand.
Edition. Not New Edition
Yeah,
now. Prime New Edition.
absolutely, no question. Which music concert would you rather go see? This is the R&B. Would you rather go see Mariah Carey or Janet Jackson?
God, Jesus Christ. Ugh. Janet Jackson.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, all
I
right.
would go see Janet.
That looked like that was pretty
That
hard
was
for
a
you to
hard
say.
one. That was hard, but Mariah has so many ballads, I would probably get tired. So Janet.
Okay, here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see a Whitney Houston concert or Celine Dion?
Whitney.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. No question about that. You did pretty good, pretty decisive on those. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Would you rather watch basketball or football?
Basketball.
Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling?
You did not sound sure about that one.
I don't know. Bowling.
Okay. Do you not? Are you active? Do you like play sports?
Um, sort of.
Okay. What is sort of
We do archery.
like we talking about
Me and
like
my
Hunger
son.
Games? Like Hunger Games
Yeah.
archery?
Yeah.
Okay. That definitely is a first here on the Work Hard Play Hard podcast. I don't think I've ever met
I don't know if
anybody that
it's
actually
active, but you got to use your arms and your back and chest, but it's not we're
it
not
is
like
a sport.
running and stuff like that. It's not cardio type sport.
Right. It is a sport for sure. I
Yeah, oh,
respect
it's a sport. It's hard, but it's
it.
it's it's hard. It can be hard on your arms, but I'm just saying like we're not like running up and down a field, right?
No,
But
no,
it
not
technically is a sport. It's an Olympic sport for crying out loud. So yeah.
okay. All right. Well, God bless your heart. Archery. I love that. Do you like desserts?
Depends on the dessert.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna name
Okay.
4 categories of desserts.
Okay.
You have to choose one of these that you'll
Okay.
never eat again. Okay?
All right. That I'll never eat again?
That you'll
Okay,
never
go.
eat again.
All right, go ahead.
Here we go. First one is ice cream.
Okay.
The second one is cookies.
Okay.
The third one is candy.
Uh-huh.
The last one is grouped together, cake/pies. Which one are you getting rid of?
Candy.
Uh, Girl, you on point like a period right now. I like that. I would have said the same thing. Now, what is your favorite cookie?
My favorite cookie is Snickerdoodle.
Somebody else said that too. Somebody else said snickerdoodle as well on this podcast. I'm gonna be different too, and I'm gonna say gingerbread is my favorite.
Ooh, gingerbread's good.
Yeah, I love me a good gingerbread cookie for sure. No question. Do you like potato chips?
Yeah.
Okay, so same format. I'm gonna name 4 brands. You have to choose one of these brands that you will get rid of. So
Okay.
here we go. The first brand is Ruffles. The next brand is Pringles. The next brand is Doritos, and the last brand is Lay's. Which one are you
Ruffles.
getting rid
Who
of?
eats
Oh,
Ruffles? Ruffles.
oh, hell
Does
no,
anybody even
Jesse,
eat
come on now,
Ruffles?
come on
I've
now.
never seen anybody buy Ruffles.
Mm-mm-mm. No, no, you said that so confident too.
It's Ruffles. I don't think I've
Well,
ever bought Ruffles.
listen, you are wonderful in a lot of different ways, but you have just proven that you are not perfect. That's just what it is. So it's okay. It's all right. I forgive you. I forgive you. Ruffles is the greatest chip ever made, in
Beg
my
to
opinion.
differ, but agree to disagree.
We're gonna have to because
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you what is your favorite chip?
I mean, I like tortilla chips
Okay, okay.
and
Now,
I like, I guess, tortilla chips and Doritos. I know they're
okay,
not good for you, but Doritos are pretty good.
they are pretty good. Tortilla chips with some salsa or some guac is good. I
Yes.
don't do the plain. Can't do it plain. They got to put something on it for sure. Okay, I'm with you on that. You did pretty good on this or that, except your Ruffles take. That was just awful, but that's okay. Yeah, you couldn't help it. You just being honest, and that's all right at the end of the day. I love asking this next question though, and that is, I need a top four from you as far
Okay.
as bucket list of events or stories that you would like to cover in your journalism career.
That I would like to cover, like in person or
Yep, in
okay, because I've
person
covered a
or
lot of events, but I've covered them remotely.
okay.
So in person, like I go to a lot of red carpet stuff. In person, it would be the Oscars, the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm,
Maybe
this one,
I mean I
okay.
want to say inauguration, but it would depend on who's president and
Sure.
um bucket list events, right?
Yep, event or
I
stories.
okay, like whatever the new thing that's going to be opening at Disneyland is, where I could get in for free and cover it.
Okay. We talking about the Disneyland in Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I like that. I did like you
Oh,
said the
maybe like the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
well,
Let me
yeah,
change that.
absolutely.
The Las Vegas Grand Prix. Instead of the inauguration, we're gonna go Oscars. We're gonna go new ride at Disneyland. We're
You
gonna
said
go
the
Las
Olympics.
Vegas Grand Prix. And what was the other one I said? I can't
You
remember.
said Olympics.
And the Olympics, yeah.
Absolutely, no question. I'm there with you on the Olympics. Obviously, we're being in California in about 3 years. That would be amazing to do that in my hometown state. So I would love that for sure. And the Oscars, I could totally see you doing the red carpet. No
I would
question
love
about
that.
that.
I covered it last year, but it was remotely. They couldn't get me on the carpet, so I was on the side in a computer. But I would love to be on the red carpet. That's a goal of mine.
Okay, I would love to see you there too. That's awesome. I love that. What is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
uh well, I'll tell you my mom's my mom's favorite saying. Uh can I cuss on here?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Her favorite saying that she always says to me whenever I get upset about something, she says, "Don't let the bastards get you down." That's short and sweet, right?
I love it. I love it.
That's a words of wisdom from Carol Dodd. So there you go.
Well, shout out to Jesse's mom. No
Shout
question
out,
about that.
mom. Don't let
Yeah.
the bastards. She's been saying that to me since I was younger. Anytime I would like lose a role or I wouldn't get the part, she said, "Just don't let the bastards get you down." I
And
didn't know
you
what that meant at the time, but now it's like, yeah, it's
and you mentioned that in on here, and you said movie roles. What movie roles have you done?
so I was in a movie called, well, I think they changed the title because people got offended, but it was called Dark Town, where I played a vampire. And then I was like in like two student films, which was pretty fun. But I used to do a lot of theater, like stage productions, and then I have a little voiceover role that I wrote in this movie called The Friendly, which is out on Amazon Prime right now.
Okay.
And I'm not like I'm only in it for like a minute, but you can hear my voice in the beginning of the movie. They said you're gonna just come on and do a news report on the radio, and I said that's perfect, I'll do it. And so I kind of was like playing myself. But I love being on sets, and I love being on stage theater. I mentioned like movies and theater are my first love. I've done a lot of theater in LA, a lot of dancing in New York on stage,
Mm.
ballet. I've been in so many productions, Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty. I can't even remember all of them. Just pretty much grew up on stage, and then again just doing commercials, doing music, things in MTV, growing
Wow.
up being on there. Whenever they would want like a oh, can you be a punk rock girl, because I don't look, I'm not a video girl, but if they wanted like a teenager that looked kind of like they were a runaway or something, they'd hire me.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
things like that. And so I must have done about 30 or 40 music videos, and um again, lots of stage production, acting, commercials, those kind of things when I was younger, and I really love it. It's fun for me. I get a kick out of it, and like I said, this part. this new documentary that we're working on. Sharon intends to have me on camera because I was a broadcast journalist and I have done movies. I didn't know my one of my uncles is this huge like Hollywood screenwriter, and he had this small budget film that he did, and I was like, oh, you want to audition for a vampire role? And I was like, I can definitely play a vampire. If you look at me, like, you don't even need to put the contacts in me. I have light eyes. Like, let's just dye my hair black. Let me be crazy.
Right.
Let's put some fangs on me and let's go. So,
Okay.
and then I did like 2 student films, which I wish I could take off of IMDb, but I literally did them as like favors in film school. I'm like, why is that on my
Okay.
IMDb? That
Okay.
was so embarrassing. I don't want that there. And
Well,
somehow
listen.
they put it up on there, and I was like, this was supposed to be a student film that like only like college was supposed to see. Why is this on here?
Hey, it's a part of your resume. You know, you
I
got to embrace
guess.
it. Embrace it. You know what I mean? So I love that. That's awesome. Now, bonus question for you. What is your favorite three I'm a huge musical person. I love musicals. So I'm gonna ask you, what's your favorite three musicals?
Okay. Les Miserables,
Yep.
Hamilton, the ones that I've seen
Okay.
in person. You mean that I've watched? Hamilton, Les Miserables, and the
Well,
third
just
one.
your favorite ones that you love.
Yeah, Hamilton, Les Mis, of course, because the score is just so amazing. And
Mhm.
then I'm gonna have to do a little Cole Porter, Anything Goes.
Okay. Okay. So I agree with you on
Oh,
the,
can
go
I
ahead.
make it 4? Because Cabaret
Go
is one
ahead.
of my favorite. I love
You said
Cabaret. I feel
okay.
like we are living in Cabaret right now. I've been drawing this
Okay.
analogy. Um, when you watch, if you haven't, even if you haven't seen it on Broadway, the Broadway shows are quite different from the movie, but they did stay pretty close to it. But it almost feels like we're always living uh, at some point of that film, of some point of that show.
Oh, okay. I have not heard of that musical before.
So
I
it
have not.
starred Liza Minnelli and Joel Grey, and they both won Oscars for their roles respectively.
Mm,
And
okay.
they both won their Oscars for that, but it's also a stage production. Alan Cumming did an amazing job. Eddie Redmayne was the MC at one point. They have all
Hmm.
these big people stepping in to the roles, and basically what it is it happens during Nazi Germany, and there's this cabaret, right? A dance club, a nightclub, and people go in and they look at the beautiful women and they're drinking, and it's like, but people are dying outside. So come in,
Right.
everything's beautiful inside the cabaret. Leave your troubles outside. Outside people are getting gunned down in the street, but in here, everything is wonderful
Right. Right.
until they
Oh,
come for me. And they do come for them at the end. So
okay.
it's like, oh, they're great. Everything is wonderful. And we're going to ignore all the people being dragged out of their homes. And it's like, it's that poem. I stayed quiet until first they came for them, then they came for them, and then they came for me, and that's kind of the whole point of the movie. It's like everything's sparkly. And we see that now. We see that with the Met Gala and these things, and these people are, wearing these $20,000 gowns, and it's like down the street
Hmm.
there's a child living in a tent, and her mom's on drugs, or d- across the border, across the sea, people are being bombed in Ukraine. Their kids in bomb shelters. But here we've got a $50,000 Rolex, and we're gonna do an ad for it on TikTok, and Kim Kardashian's gonna pose in her Skims, and it's gonna be fine. So I feel like that's
Right.
kind of where we are in the world without
In
getting too
society.
political.
Right. Right. In society. No, I totally understand what you're saying. No question about that. I do agree with you on Les Mis. I
The
acted in that.
score.
I acted in that play in high school. I would say Rent is next for me. And Hairspray for
Hairspray's
sure.
great. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one with a great message too.
Yeah.
But
I like
there's
that.
nothing like sitting in the theater down on 34th Street, 32nd Street, and seeing the curtain rise and hearing that first overture in Les Mis. Uh, you know, it's just there's something amazing about it. Being in the theater and seeing it on Broadway is just. I think I must have seen it about 6 times on Broadway. I love it.
Absolutely. That's my goal too, to be able to see it on Broadway. I've seen it in Atlanta a few times, but I have not gotten a chance to see it on Broadway, but I will definitely do that. I was the prisoner in the very first scene. I actually had
Okay.
I had four different parts in high school. So I was a prisoner, I had to drink with me solo, and then I also was one of the people that got gunned down at the very end. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting play, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing it. It was something different for sure. This has been a very enlightening and different conversation, but wonderful conversation for sure with you, Jesse. Talking about your background, coming from the East Coast in Boston, and then moving all the way to the West. I mean, that's the
What
opposite
was I
ends of the
thinking? Oh
opposite
my
ends of the
God.
spectrum here. You know what I mean? But it's amazing what you have done in your career. It's amazing what you're doing. The fact that you are, being able to report, do something that you love, but also try to get this documentary up and going as well. I am a new fan of yours. I'm hoping that you have nothing but continued success out there in Imperial Valley. Obviously, whenever I do come back out there and visit my family, because I do have cousins in the LA area, I'll have to say hello to you for sure.
Definitely say.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
gotta say hello.
oh, no question, I certainly will. Certainly will do that. Maybe we'll catch a ball game or something like that. I would like that. Um, but I want you to have a wonderful Friday evening,
Thank you.
and the rest of your weekend. And my final question to you is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
No, it's no, no, I don't think so. I think we covered most of the things. I'm just saying, if to the young kids who are out there on TikTok and see reporters, doing videos and things like that, or in the field, make sure that you really want to do it. It's not for everybody. It's a phenomenal job. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't a reporter.
Mm.
But there's a lot that goes with it. It's a fun job. It's a great job. You get to tell people about things that are going on in the community and in the world. It's an important job. And if you want to be a reporter and you're in high school or you're in college, just grab your cell phone, grab a
Yeah,
microphone, go out,
absolutely.
go around your college campus, start asking people, or your high school or your elementary school, ask people what their favorite lunch is, why, who's their favorite teacher, what do they want to see different at their school. If you're out and something happens, there's a car accident, just start filming it, do a little narration, tell everybody what you're looking at and what you're seeing. I think it was Elon Musk, he said, you are the media now.
Wow. Well said. Absolutely well said, Jesse. I appreciate that. And listen, again, thank you for coming on to my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, and you enjoy your weekend and your night. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you so much. Bye-bye.